Welcome to Sacred Life Church's new members class. I am excited to be here today. We're going to probably break it up into about three parts, very short parts. Uh, then what we'll do is we have a book. We have a book. Can you see the book online?
Yes.
This is the book that we are actually working out of. There's a digital copy that I'll probably be having available via our website, which is slbcworship.org. You are more than welcome to follow along with us. It is second page is the table of contents. The first part is my journey. And what I welcome you to do is blank because each person has their own unique journey.
Mm-hmm.
And what I would welcome you to do is to take time and to think what led you to SLBC. Like what was the journey that led you to this church to partner with us, no matter where you are around the world. This page is blank because it's really about you and thinking about what led you to be part of SLBC, Sacred Life Baptist Church. So really what we're going to begin is in chapter 2, which is the history of Sacred Life Baptist Church, the history of Sacred Life Baptist Church. And really, when we were putting this together, I was really shocked at how much history we actually have. We have about 1.5 pages of history, and we've only just begun. And this was written quite a while ago, so we are actually going to begin doing. This could be 2 or 3 pages by this point because we've done so much. So on 5/15/17, Mother's Day, Reverend Aaron Gray received a vision from God. The vision was Aaron Gray was sitting in a beautiful church, one of those old churches with history and grace in the walls and the stained glass windows, but it was almost completely empty. God asked Reverend Gray where his people were, to which Reverend Gray responded he did not know. God asked Reverend Gray a few times as both God and Reverend Gray looked out over the sea of empty chairs. God told Reverend Gray at that moment to start a church, but it would be a different type of church. It will be a church without walls, a church that is where the people are. All right, so that's basically how it was founded. That's the general concept of the story. But here's where we really are. Church is church. The foundation of the church does not change because the foundation of the church is what? Jesus Christ and our faith in Jesus Christ. But the method of the transmittal of that faith has changed tremendously from the time Jesus was killed on the cross and resurrected to now. The method of the transmission of that faith has constantly undergone change. And if we were to go back before then, even to the time of pre-biblical work, to the time of the Torah, those were written on what? Not books, but what? Scrolls. Before we had scrolls, what did they do? They were passed down what? Orally. So the Bible has continuously changed. Not the actual content of the Bible, but what? The transmission of the Bible. The way people have gotten their faith has constantly changed. Mm-hmm. With the technology of that time. Meaning, when it was passed down orally, that was the best technology they had, was the spoken word.
Okay.
They didn't have the written word then. So the best technology that they had was what? The verbal word.
Mm-hmm.
From there, they had the written word.
Mm-hmm.
And they quickly did what? To the oral transmission of it. They wrote it down. In writing it down, they cemented, meaning before then there was oral people and they went around, and there were storytellers and they would tell the stories of the Bible, and they would go from place to place to place to place. And so what they did was they took it and they put it into the best technology of that time, which was what? The written word.
Mm-hmm.
On a scroll.
Okay.
Later, they had a different idea because the technology became better. And the technology became a codex, an actual book, where they had different scrolls, and each scroll had a different story, because that was the best technology that they had at that time. They then had the ability to codex everything, to put everything together. And what did they do with the Bible then? They put it into what? A codex. Also, they couldn't have churches. The temple was destroyed.
Yeah.
And every Christian was being hunted. So people met at what? Their homes. But after time, the Bible was codexed, and it was no longer illegal to be a Christian under who? Constantine.
Yeah.
Which allowed Christianity to build what? Churches. Now, did that mean that churches were better than meeting at homes? No. But the technology was better. Because it's better to meet in a neutral place where you can fit hundreds of people than in my house.
Yeah.
Because that's my house. So now we've got this place, and because now we've got these churches, we can now have a full-on formal setting that we have set apart. So the technology then changed to now we're meeting in homes to churches. And we stayed there. But now the technology has changed again. And now we can have what? Global churches. Churches all over the world where people can attend the church that may have never been able to before. People that are sick and shut in, that may never have been able to leave their home, can now attend a full church service and be a part of the body of Christ in a way that they had never thought imaginable before. The Bible, just as when it went from being oral to being written down in scrolls to being codexed in a Bible, does not change. But the method of the transmission has always changed. Sacred Life wants to be a church that is not cemented in the transmission, but is able to send it forth using the technology that we have today. Much like it has always done in the past, is the way that it will do in the future. So, I know that it is scary, as all things are scary, to say an online church. We are technically a hybrid church. What does that mean? That means we have a physical location that we actually physically have church, and we also have an online location. Both locations are equal. So when you click subscribe, or when you send an email, when you say, I want to be partner with this church, You are partnering with this church, and I value you as a member of our church family. The physical location is not greater than the online location. For it is all about what? The transmission of what?
The Word of God.
The Word of God. Reaching everybody. So when God came to me and asked me to do and start this church, I was completely shocked because I had not seen anything like it before. And I was a little worried, honestly, because I didn't know exactly what it would lead to. An online hybrid church? What does that even look like? Well, it looks like live streaming. It looks like a video library. It looks like a whole lot of people coming together. There are some videos that we have now, and it's going to be funny when we watch this 5 or 6 years later when I say this, but there's some videos that we have now that have 2,000 people that have watched it. 2,000 people have partnered with us to watch our videos. Overall, we have about 5,000 views. 5,000 individual people have chosen to watch our videos. That's an amazing thing when you think about it. All over the world, people have accessed our videos. So that's what it's saying here. When it says a church without walls, a church that is where the people are. Wherever you are, Sacred Life is with you. And whatever you're going through, Sacred Life is with you in a hospital room. You say, oh my God, I don't know what to do. My aunt is sick. We're about to go into surgery and we need some prayer. Well, guess what? We're about to start a prayer ministry. Open up Sacred Life. Go to the prayer. And now you can pray the prayer with the prayer online. Right there. I want to have communion. Now you can go to Sacred Life. Click it. And you can have a full communion with us. Anytime. Anywhere. Around the world. That is where the church is going next. Yeah. And that is where we are going as Sacred Life Baptist Church. Questions or thoughts on that? Questions or thoughts? Questions? Because this is not just a one-way thing. You know, I've got an actual audience of people. So any thoughts or questions on that? No?
You may...
louder.
You might, as we go through this, our new members book, this may be hit upon, but can you tell us right now what the next vision for you see, the next step, the next level for our church will be?
Oh, yeah, it's hit on later, but we can go over that now. Sacred Life, we are now, right now we're in a building stage because we are still building our temple. And remember, we're in the year of the what? Building. And no one is going to build what?
Our temple for us.
No one's going to build our temple for us. So we are in the year of the building, the year of the temple. So right now we're laying foundations. I'm looking at every aspect of Christian life. And I want Sacred Life to be a part of that aspect. So right now we're going to launch a prayer ministry so that people can have prayer accessible 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We're going to start posting communion, different types of communion. We're also going to have a Christian exercise for the body. We're going to have a Christian exchange where Christians go, where me and the First Lady are going to start interviewing and having conversations with Christians and non-Christians alike so that we can get different perspectives on Christ and just life in general. And from there, we're going to even grow further. Eventually, probably we'll have a series on child rearing and how to rear children. Every aspect of a Christian's life, I want to have integrated in Sacred Life in some way. Christian fashion, because a lot of people don't know what does it mean when you say she's dressed inappropriately for church. Now, you may be dressed appropriately for the street, but what does it mean to say that you're dressed inappropriately for church? And that doesn't necessarily mean a suit and tie. That doesn't necessarily mean a full dress. But Christian fashion would be something that's very important, And if you like the Christian fashion, then you might want to wear that all the time, not just the church. But you see, so every aspect of life, I want to, in some way, be at least affected by Sacred Life, so that if you partner with us, you're not just partnering with us just to watch our video and leave. You're partnering with us to actually partner with us, and we can actually have some effect on your individual personal life. And that's the vision of Sacred Life, and that's the vision of the church as it is now. Because the Bible wants to have an impact not just on Sunday. The Bible wants to have an impact every day. But how do you do that? How do you do that? How do you have an impact every day? You're not going to watch service every day, right? You're not going to watch. I mean, you could. I mean, at this point, how many videos we got? Like 400. But you could watch a video every day, but you're not going to do that. So we're going to make it accessible in another way, in a different way, And in that way, you're going to find yourself wanting to do more with us and watch us more, because we're integrating Bible into your life.
Thank you.
Any other questions or thoughts before you? Okay, so on August 7th, 2017, Sacred Life BC was organized and recognized by the state. The board members were Reverend Aaron Gray, First Lady Joanna Gray, Veronica Anderson, Jason Anderson, Valerie Gray Johnson, Carlene Carter Moore, and Yolanda Battle. On 9/4/2017, we held our first board meeting where Reverend Gray was elected the pastor and Valerie Gray Johnson was elected the first deacon. So Sacred Life has a deacon and we have a pastor. And that's where we are. On 10/1, we held our first church service at All Faiths Funeral Home. How did that happen? We were looking for a place. I knew that God said we were going to start on 10/1 back in August, actually. God said we were going to start. And we had been looking for a couple of places, but we didn't find anything that felt right, that felt like a place that we could have. And I actually had a dream, believe it or not, that we were going to be in this funeral home. Although God didn't exactly tell me that it was a funeral home in the dream. Because I probably would have bucked at that, because you don't really want to. But anyway, so I had a dream that we were there, and First Lady, she has a family member that attends this church, and I talked to the pastor, and he opened up All Faiths Funeral Home to us. And so we didn't know where we were going to start, and then until 2 weeks before we actually started, we sat down with the pastor, and he opened the door for us. And that's how we ended all of 2017. So the rest of those times so if you watch our early videos, those early live streams are actually in All Faiths Funeral Home. We're not there now, but we do give great thanks to All Faiths Funeral Home for opening the door to us. On 10/2, we joined the Southern Baptist Association, so we are Southern Baptist. We are officially Southern Baptist. On 12/17, we held our first live stream, which is available. You can actually watch that. We held our first live stream. It was amazing. It was amazing. And then we had our first Blessed Children annual event. That came to us right as the church was being founded. It came to us that we would have a Blessed Children event, and we're going to do it again next year. This is yearly, and it's just been a real blessing, real blessing. Anyone want to talk about the Blessed Children event? What it is?
It's just a great event.
A little louder.
It's just a great event in which we celebrate children and their families. We have a huge celebration at Pump It Up, like a big party, kind of like a birthday party for children. We have them jump around, have fun, have pizza. We celebrate the children, and then we have church service, and we bless the children, and we provide certificates of dedication to the children.
Or blessings. Dedication or blessing.
Dedications or blessings to the children. So it's all around. Parents are so happy that we bless the children, and everyone is happy. So it's an amazing event.
So that is and we do that every year. We're going to be doing it at the beginning of next year. And then, of course, we held our first Bible study on 3/6/2018 at New True Faith Missionary Baptist Church.
Yeah.
And there's so much more that we could add. I mean, there's so much more, but that's where we were at that point. So that's kind of the history of the church. Any questions?
No?
So we are super excited. Our goal right now is to hit 1,000 subscribers. So once we hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to update this to say that we hit 1,000 subscribers. We also have the 31 days of prayer coming in December, which is going to be super exciting. We have Christian Zumba or Christian exercise class. We have the Christian Exchange, which is going to be happening also, which is a Christian conversation piece. I think we're also doing like something like the Christian View or something, which is another thing that we are working on. So we're just super excited. We're just moving. We're moving really at the speed of light. Questions or thoughts?
No?
Okay, so that's where we're going to end this section. We're going to pick this back up probably next week, and we'll talk more about our core values, which is next time. We'll talk about our mission and core values, and then we'll talk about our strategy plan. So this is where we are now. We just went over the history, and that's it. So I'll see you next time. If you're watching this to become a new member online, then please just click over to our next video, find our next video in the playlist, and click number 2. But also, please take time to write about your own journey, my journey. This is something that if we do get to converse, I'm going to ask you about, and then maybe we could exchange, and I could talk to you about my journey as well. But if you're doing this online, this is not the end, but only the beginning. And please go ahead and click over to the next video after you fill out your My Journey section. Also, if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you very much, and be blessed.